Good afternoon from Bali, everyone. It's Anita Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, I thought I would talk about trust. It's something that has been on my mind for a very, very long time, and perhaps we all think of trust a little bit more if we've felt an experience where we felt that trust was somehow shaken, or sometimes we say broken. And I can say that I suspect many of us have heard this quotation that I'd like to begin with. This one is by Shakira Nandini, and it says, "Trust is like a vase. Once it's broken, though you can fix it, the vase will never be the same again." So this vase analogy, that's this whole analogy that, once it's broken, and people sometimes use the idea of a glass, anything that's something, or a mirror, that's something that's broken, and you just can't repair it the same as its original state. And I think many of us have grown up with this idea and feeling, and certainly in previous videos I've talked about exactly this. And I've been reflecting for a number of days now about this idea of trust. And as I reflect and contemplate on this idea, I see how much it affects all of us. So I'll say, of course, I always believe that it's best to begin with ourselves, that how much do I trust, or how much am I trusted? Am I trustworthy? Do I think others are trustworthy? So all of that. And then we can see, how does that permeate into the world around us? So how does that affect relationships? So closest relationships might be a couple, and then it moves into a family, and then it's into a community, it could be into an organization, it could be into business, and that affects our countries, and then the countries affect each other, and this interdependence, and so all of this energy beginning with ourselves. So if I start from a space that I'm not very trusting, and especially if we've had an experience that has led us to feeling that I'm the broken vase, I've had trust that was broken, and I was so trustworthy and naive at one point, and now I don't trust anything, I'm very suspicious. This is what's happened in whether relationships or communities in countries and the world. And so I thought this was a really great quotation to reflect on too. This one is by Annie Besant, and it says, "Better remain silent, better not even think, if you are not prepared to act." Better remain silent, better not even think, if you are not prepared to act. And you think, oh boy, so if I had trust that I feel, this mind would feel I'm broken, this person is broken, this mind is broken, this heart is broken, whichever way I think of it. If I'm thinking this way and I'm saying I better remain silent, why would I bring up this quotation? Because many times when we have been in these spaces, we start analyzing and thinking and judging, whether ourselves or another. So we will look at the differences. Well, at least I wouldn't lie like that. I wouldn't speak an untruth. I wouldn't steal like that. I wouldn't be rude like that. I wouldn't be angry like that. Whichever, we make the comparison. So again, this brings the development of ego, that I'm better because I'm not like that. Or I think that is much better than me, and they're so calm and they're so peaceful, and I'm not like that. And so then that's also ego. So remember, better than or lesser than ego spaces. So when we look at now, we go into a relationship, something has happened where trust has been broken, and something has been spoken about some fact that has been found out, and it's broken some trust. This idea, if we are speaking, if we're not prepared to act on it. So for example, when I found out the details that led to my divorce, I was prepared to act on it, and I will say I, as the soul, was prepared to act on it. This mind wished for better times, better memories, the things that this mind remembered, that it was so good, and how has this changed, and how could this trust break? And what we do is we create this image of, in perfect trust, this was my perfect life. And trust is never perfect. It's a moment by moment experience. So this moment may be perfect because this mind believes that I can trust, or I'm allowing this mind to trust. And trust requires some vulnerability, a bit of a leap of faith, because it's putting something out of our control. It's trusting to something outside of us. So something like Some people might find it easiest to trust God or the universe, and they'll say, I can trust that, I just don't trust people. And guess what? People have done this in our world. And what will happen is, first, don't trust relationships. I hear all the time, you can't trust women or you can't trust men. So I hear these words. And so we've already made a decision of this is how I'm thinking. Unless I reflect on how does this mind think, I will speak from that space. You can't trust. So now I'm going to tell other people that you can't trust men. Or I will hear from a person about you can't trust women because they do this. And I can also make a judgment about the person who's speaking it. And it's not a trusting space either. It's definitely is my thought in this moment, if this is what this person is saying, and do I agree with it, do I disagree with it, and I might share that. And so if I'm not silent in that time of before some self-reflection, introspection, we can actually see that we start speaking before we've actually reflected on how will this affect another, how does this affect me, how I'm thinking, how I'm speaking, how I'm behaving. Now I'm going to say that I'm behaving in a way that's protective, and we've understood this in psychology that, oh, your trust was broken, and that trust takes a long time to rebuild because, you know, once that much unease has happened, it will take a long time. Now, it's true that it can take time. When we put long or short onto it, we put a qualitative measurement on it. A measurement is not necessary. We can say, I have trust, I do not have trust. And that's just understanding what is right now. And then each time to recognize that each moment of having trust is a leap of faith in that moment. So I like to think of it, most minds would, that it's because the person or the situation has built up trust over time. I trust at this much. And so then this much investment from my feeling of I can trust this person, this company, this organization, this country, whichever I think of, and then something happens that shifts that trust, and I discover something that doesn't actually fall in alignment with that. Now everything crumbles from what I've been taught. But if I'm actually in this moment, I can reflect on what made me think that trust is the same day to day to day, because I can trust that this person's going to put the toilet seat down, but I might not be able to trust leaving my checkbook on the counter, whatever it is. And yet recognizing that trust is variable and trust does change. It goes with the flow, and when we're going with the flow, we're also contributing to the faith in something unknown, which is changeable, and our ability to adapt to the changeable. That ability to adapt does not put things in a fixed space, which are actually fluid and in motion, which is like trust. Because today I feel very trusting, and when something happens that my trust is broken, affected, and I've allowed that, this mind has allowed the space of I'm not going to trust now. Now it's from self-protection that I pull away from not only this person who broke the trust, but now everyone who's going to do the same thing. So this person said they're going to lend me a book, and they never came through. And it's simple example. A simple example. A person wants to lend you a book, me a book, and they don't come through. And you think, well, I trusted that they would, and I actually need that book for an exam, or I need that book because I need to write a paper on it. I need something. I needed that book, and they said they were going to give it to me. Now, not only do I not trust that person if they say, oh, I'll lend you the book the next time, I also don't trust others who say it, because now it's based on memory that someone has let me down this way. My trust was broken. I'm not going to trust again. And it's better to just trust yourself. That's all we can do. And you can see that sometimes we make a promise to ourselves of, you know what, I so know that I'm not going to eat carbs this week. And then I eat carbs. Can I trust myself that I said this to myself and then I didn't do it? So isn't it the same? And yet we give ourselves the flexibility. We do not give that to others. And this is partly what I believe has happened in society, that then we've all become less trusting of each other, because again, it does take some faith and some courage to be in the space of unknown and trust. And we can see that this has happened in every system. We can think about the government systems. We can think about systems that actually are in education, which of course you know that I'm very interested in, and this is what this series is about. Do I trust the educational system when I see that, oh, they're just trying to do this in the old style, and they're They've never changed for this many years. They're not going to change. And if I start with that, I don't trust that change is inevitable and it is happening, and I can contribute to it by promoting my positive intention and my understanding, my trust, my blind trust, no, my knowing trust, because everything does change and it is changing and things do move from something not good to something good. This is the wave experience that we have, that something goes really good and something goes not so good and comes up and down like this, and we're growing all together. We are evolving. But if I start thinking that only I am doing that because, I'm paying attention to these things, guess what? The collective is too. And this collective energy, which also has a divine force behind it, is also pushing this. Can I, as Hanifa, contribute to this trust, whether in the universe or whether in people? Because people do change day to day too. And why don't we assume that people are becoming more trustworthy rather than fall into the space of suspicion? I don't trust anyone, which is what has happened right now for many. Today, I would like to remind us to trust again, because this trust energy is in divine alignment with our true experience here in this world, this universe, this earth, this land. And I thought I would share this quotation too. I've got two more quotations. This one, it says, "It is better to trust and sometimes be disappointed than to be forever mistrusting and be right occasionally." And isn't that what we've done? Is that, I'd rather never be disappointed and I'll be right occasionally, because, enough times of me saying this, that eventually I'm going to be right. I knew I couldn't trust that person, that business, that company, that organization, that country. I want to create that truth. And so I miss all of the times that it was trustworthy, because I've just decided that when this happens, I'll know. And I don't know. It happens in the moment by moment experience if we are open to it. And this is why it's better to trust and sometimes be disappointed. And then I wanted to finish with this quotation, which I think is very meaningful. It's by St. Augustine. And it says, "If you are silent, be silent out of love. If you speak, speak out of love." So this is the thing that, let's say I don't trust something, someone, somewhere, and I'm silent about it. And I've had this experience actually before I came to Bali, or maybe right in Bali, I go say, where I was trying to be silent because, yes, my trust had been shaken just before that time. The person I was speaking with actually knew this, and perhaps others, many did by that time anyways. But so the person just really firmly said, "You don't trust me." And the person made that personal. This is personal. This, "you don't trust me." It's trust as a general energy can be broken. If we understand trust, we see that it does take a moment to moment awareness of how is my trust now. And yes, trust can be rebuilt and trust can get weakened. And it is with our intention of where we want it to be. Today, I hope that you will trust yourself, the universe, and your direction ahead. I wish you a fabulous day ahead, and I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day or night, everyone.